What up, world? Welcome to another episode of Wrestling Life. As you know, I am Brandon Janeau, the host, and like always on all podcast platforms everywhere, Brandon Janeau Show. Social media platforms, Instagram and Threads, Brandon Janeau, Facebook, The Brandon Janeau Show, and of course, TikTok, Brandon Janeau Show, Twitter, X, B Janeau. Go follow me on all of those streaming social media platforms. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And just like always, YouTube channel. It's where you catch the visual. This, my face actually moving. Not just my voice. YouTube channel, Brand New Show. Hope you guys enjoy this. Let's get into it, man. Like I said, this is wrestling life. I am switching it up tonight. I am switching it up. I usually do I Bleed Sports first, and then I do all the other episodes. But tonight I'm doing wrestling life first because there's a lot of shit going on, and I need to actually address it before I forget about it. Or I don't have the energy to do it. So here we go, man. Wrestling life, man. A lot of things are going on. First thing I want to talk about is, of course, um, a lot of people in the IWC. I think that's how they say it. Community on Twitter and social media, all these places, podcasters that talk about wrestling. Um, they're getting emotional, and they're getting a little bit too much emotional. Um, Here's the reason why: because WWE is taping Raw and SmackDown for the next two episodes. So if you are, going to watch Raw or SmackDown for the next 2 weeks, the next 2 weeks on Raw and SmackDown, today, last night, and of course next week was already taped. Um, so spoilers have already been out. A lot of people have already shown on social media. I mean, if you got X, you got TikTok, and you follow these things, you already know that this has already been, spoilers have already been seen throughout it. I'll be talking about a little bit of that today. But yes, this is the one thing about having tape shows is that people have no understanding that you are not supposed to do shit like that. But they're so happy to be there, and they're just. But on top of that, it's like they also want to be the first to say, I saw this first, and this is why." You hurt the program. You do know that, right? Like, you're hurting WWE, you're hurting the wrestling business when you do shit like that. Because at the end of the day, we want to see it first. Like, we want to see it. We want to experience it. We want to be like, whoa, what the fuck? Is it? But when you do shit like that, when you expose what's gonna happen and give us quote unquote spoilers, I don't give a. I hate that fucking word, spoilers. There are no spoilers. That is just you being completely and utterly an asshole and trying to hide it under the guidelines of. But no, man, that's fucked up, bro. You are an asshole for doing that shit. If you wanna record it, bro. You wanna tape it, bro. But what the fuck I have a problem with it is when you run to your social media to post it. Because now we are watching this shit. And fans are like, yo, I can't wait till next week. That was a crazy ass cliffhanger. And you just post on social media. So Friday night on SmackDown, it doesn't even make sense to watch this shit. What am I watching on Friday Night SmackDown for now? I already know who's the fifth member of the Women's WarGames match. I already know it's going to be a Women's WarGames match. That's something they didn't even announce last night. Now it's a Women's WarGames match, and I already know who the fifth members are. That's where the problem kicks in. It's not that they're getting taped, because that's another thing that I get people hearing, that people get mad at WWE for taping these shows. But when you hear the reasoning behind why they're taping them, excuse me, can you even be mad? I mean, listen, man, Triple H is not Vince. Triple H has let these people go home and enjoy their holidays and be with their family and their loved ones. That is respect and commendable. I don't give a fuck how you feel about that, because we are so. This is the thing. We got to get out of this fucking broken society thought process that we have been placed in for so fucking long. We're so used to this shit. But these people used to work 300 in like 308 days, like 365 days of a fucking year, barring injury, like 333 days a year, bro. Like, no, man, let these people go home and be around their families and enjoy their holidays. Like, the fuck going on with y'all? Like, Y'all do too much. Y'all really do too fucking much. It's crazy. Now that we're getting these wrestlers getting off days, you're getting emotional about it. I don't get why you are mad at that. I get it. The fans wise, I get that you're like, yo, you should not be posting what's going to happen next week. I totally understand that. And WWE needs to have rules and regulations towards people for that shit. They've been kicking a lot of these taking a lot of the content creators shit off of social media a lot recently. I think they should do that. They should really copyright the fuck out of this for people that do them. Like I like go to these shows. They know it's gonna be a double taping, and they should um put a copyright or something, an infringement on this because you're ruining my product when you do shit like that. Because people are now getting the spoiler, so which means is the show next week becomes obsolete. Nobody gives a fuck about what happens next week because all we know is somebody's coming back for the women's war games match. The men's war games match now going to officially be, you know, you know, pretty much finalized. That's another thing, and I'll talk about that in the next, when I talk about that later, because I'll be talking about war games. And I'll talk about the two women's war game, the women's war games match and the men's war game match, and I'll be talking about both of them. And I hear a lot of people getting mad over how fast this is. But again, you put into, like I said, they are taping these shows. So for this week and next, these people are going to be on break. They're gonna be on break. So how fast do you want it? They had to speed up the process to get to Survivor Series. Yes, could they have done it better? Yeah, they could have easily had done this shit better. But again, put shit into perspective. I think a lot of people just are getting emotional over shit. Yes. Do I think that, and that's the thing, I think WWE needs to have better and stricter laws on people that come to these tapings and they need to tell them, listen, do not record this shit. Do not post this shit after you leave. Because if you do, we will hit you with a copyright infringement and we will sue your ass. Because now you're impeding on our fucking program. You're fucking up the whole reasoning for why we're having double tapings. If I was WWE, you taking it out on these content creators, I take it out on these fucking fanboys that come to these shows. Because what the fuck am I watching next Monday for now? I don't need to watch next Monday. And I'm pretty sure Friday night SmackDown, I'm gonna watch it because I'm a wrestling fan. I love wrestling. I'm gonna watch it. I watched the fucking. I already knew Jay and Jimmy and Roman had been back together because they did damn tapings the week before, and they showed everybody that it was already in the ring. It's like, bro, you can't. But again, that's the reason why a lot of people don't like these tapings. And I get it, fans as fans, you can despise that shit. I get it, totally understand. But that's not on WWE. That's on the fans, and the fans have to do better. Fans, these Twitters, these social media platforms, all of these people, they have to do better. Um, because I get it. You want to be the first to break the story. The problem with the breaking of the story is that you're ruining for other people that are going to be watching this next week and enjoying it next week. Now, I have no reason to watch fucking Monday Night Raw next week. I'm gonna watch it, but I already know what's gonna happen. I already know what's gonna happen. Particularly, I already know the storylines is about to happen. So, what the fuck are you doing? You trying to be first and be the first with the reactions is actually watering down the wrestling programming. But you don't see that because again, you just want to be first. Now, let's get into it. Let's get into it now. Let's do it. So the bloodline. War Games is officially announced. It was announced Friday that it will be a War Games match between the OG Bloodline and the new Bloodline, Bloodline 2.0. I don't know what the fuck they call themselves. The Renegade Bloodline. I don't know what the fuck they call themselves. Um, it will be a war games. It will be 4-on-4. Now it will be 5-on-5. And like I said, so if this is again, if you do not like spoilers, I cannot help it. They already have pretty much announced who the fuck is going to be on whose team, and I discredit this. This is the thing. There's three things I particularly think that could have helped this Bloodline War Games match. Now, the first option is what exactly is what's going to happen, which is going to be Seth and Bronson Reed joining the War Games match. Now, here's the thing. Let's say hypothetically, Seth and Bronson do join the War Games match. I don't know if this is really going to happen. That's what people are reporting, that it's going to be. They address I mean, both Sammy and then the new Bloodline both asked Seth to be a part of the War Games match. And like I say all the time with Triple H, he does not go up there. He does not do something if he's not going to put it on TV if he's not going to do it eventually. But here's the thing. There are three scenarios that this Bloodline War Games match could have easily went. The first one is the obvious one that they're probably gonna go with, which is gonna happen, which is Seth and Bronson Reed. They have a rivalry. They're going against each other. But also, what people don't understand is I'm gonna go with this first. Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed. They're trying to push Bronson Reed as a top heel on Monday Night Raw. They do not have any heels on Monday Night Raw. Outside of Gunther and Brian Breaker, they have no male heels on Monday Night Raw. They have been building Bronson Reed as this destructive monster for literally months now. Bronson Reed needs a PLE match. And I mean a big PLE match. What would make him more of a dominant force? Put him in War Games. What the new bloodline? And becoming and being a part of the new and being a part of the main event of Survivor. This man went from not even being on PLEs to now being in a fucking main event in the hottest storyline for the last 4 fucking years. Again, yes, does it make sense story wise? Bronson Reed's in? Not fucking really, but like, let's be real. Let last year make fucking sense for Drew McIntyre to be in a fucking bloodline? It being a Judgment Day storyline? Fuck no, it didn't make fucking sense. You could sit there all day and scream at it. It didn't make any fucking sense. What was his beef? He had no beef with Seth. He really had no beef with Sammy. He had no beef with the only person he had beef with was Jay. That was it. That was the only person he had beef with. That's it. He had beef with Cody because Cody brought him to Raw, but that like they're high. That's a hired mercenary. Like we already know that. Bronson Reed's a hired mercenary. He's not going to the bloodline. But this also again, you look on the surface, it's deeper than that. Bronson Reed needs to be a part of a storyline like this. He's going to be added into the bloodline storyline. A man that ain't been on that wasn't even seen on PLEs a couple of months ago is now going to be in the main event of a PLE, and it's not just any PLE. It's Survivor Series. It's War Games, and you're going to be sharing the ring with probably four of the five top baby faces in WWE: Roman, Jay, Seth, Sammy. And you're in the hottest storyline in all of professional wrestling. If that's not top heel shit, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. You just gave Bronson Reed top heel shit. You made him immediately the second, third biggest heel on Monday Night Raw, and one of the biggest heels in WWE, just by doing this, just by deciding to do this. People can sit there and say, now, does he fit the fucking story? Fuck no, he doesn't fit it. Clearly, he doesn't fit the story. Now, on the flip side of that, Seth coming into the storyline, does this now create the opportunity? Does this now make Seth a hypocrite? Like Cody became a hypocrite to a lot of people. Seth's more outwardly a hypocrite right now. And I'm gonna tell you why I say that. And Seth's one of my favorite wrestlers. One of my favorite wrestlers. Y'all know how much I love Seth. You watch, listen to me do wrestling life, and I've pretty much told you Seth is my favorite wrestler out of this generation. I think Seth's better than Roman in the ring. I think Seth's better than Roman on the microphone. I think that just people that always wanted to like Roman despised Roman. So when he finally turned heel, everybody that already didn't like him was like, finally, he's a heel. Now we can like him again. That's pretty much what it is. But again, nobody. I like Roman, but it was, but like, I don't get it. Seth, Seth's been my favorite wrestler out of them two. Seth is my favorite wrestler out of them two. It's easy, like that. It's easy. Um, there's a reason for why Seth's in this. Like I said, does he become now a hypocrite to a lot of people because he's more outwardly like, yo, Roman's only using y'all to get his shit back. He's pretty like that's pretty much telling you what is happening. He's using you to pretty much regain what the fuck he lost if you're not realizing it. So he's outwardly telling them, hey man, I don't want to do this shit because I already know what Roman really is. Roman's trying to just use y'all to get his shit back. He wants the Ula Fala. He wants to be the tribal chief again. He wants to be the WWE champion again. I did all this shit to get rid. I wrestled this man with a torn ACL, and I'm supposed to now just help him because you want me to? Fuck no. And he ain't like he asked me to help him. You know, like he asked me to help him. Sammy asked me. That's the thing about this situation. A lot of people just don't understand. Like, now, do I think Seth needs to join the blood? Does this make sense for Seth? Seth and Roman does have history. Pretty obvious. Seth and Roman have history. You have to also put into perspective. This will be the 12-year anniversary of the Shield. It'll be the 12-year anniversary of the Shield at this Survivor Series. They debuted 12 years ago at Survivor Series. The thing that they did so Sammy did pretty well last night was like, yo, I get it that we've all had history with Roman and we not really like Roman, and I get it, I get it. But let's be that's still your brother. And that's the thing about the storyline. Seth Rollins is going to join Roman because at some point he's that is the key. It's family. Seth and Roman came in together. They were the Shield. They were family. Yes. Have they had their own problems? And you know what's crazy is that Roman and Seth problems actually take precedent more than Roman and Jay's, than Roman and Sammy's, because Roman and Seth have been going back and forth for 11 years, 10 years. They broke up what in 2014? Yeah, so 10 years. So their conflict is way more intriguing because Roman and Seth really don't like each other. Seth screwed Roman on numerous occasions. When Seth tore his ACL the first time he came back, he beat Roman and took the belt from him. They've had their moments where they've been cool, but never to the point where they were back as tight as they were in wrestling world, in the wrestling world, right? So and then Seth literally sacrificed himself, sacrificed his body to topple Roman's empire. You think Roman's just gonna be cool with Seth joining him now? Fuck no. Roman's gonna be just as pissed off. If it wasn't for you, I would still be champion. I used that steel chair to hit you, and then Cody pinned me and beat me and took my belt. If it wasn't for you, I would still be champion. He'll really flip the fuck out if Seth joins him. But this is why I say this story, this kind of, you know, is the least likeliest of the, you know, ideas. It doesn't. I get the story that you want to push, but here's where it is. There's two things you should. This is the reason why I say this. There's two. Excuse me. There's two ways this can go. And to be honest with you, the second one can still work for the first one too. There's two ways this can go. The first one is this, very simple. The bloodline storyline that they're telling with the OG bloodline is that everybody's an individual now. They're not together. They are not a tight knit group. They do not trust Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns does not trust them. The only person that is technically not an individual is Jimmy. Jimmy, what's the first thing Jimmy said when he came back? What did Jimmy say when he came back? I'm the only person in the family that still acknowledges you. So does that count for The Rock? Rikishi? Jimmy's the only person that's still following whatever Roman tells him to do. And even that is still a little bit shaky here and there. But he's the only person that really doesn't, that has an allegiance to Roman and will always probably have an allegiance to Roman. Jay is an individual. Jay's his own fucking man. He doesn't need to be following Roman around. Sammy is his own fucking man. He doesn't need to be following Roman around. And if Seth joins the fucking storyline, what's the reason for Seth joining the storyline? Because he really doesn't have a reason to be joining Roman Reigns. That's the thing about all of this shit. Every single thing is that this is still the OG bloodline right now is not a united front. They're coming together only because they're trying to topple something bigger than them. But yet the problem with this new the bloodline, the OG bloodline, is that they don't have any trust, any faith, that they all believe in each other. They don't trust each other. Nobody trusts each other. You think Roman and Jimmy are gonna trust Seth? Roman and Jimmy don't even trust Sammy. Jay don't trust Roman. Roman has to be humbled. How the fuck do you get there? I said this though, but this is the thing that I do agree with everybody on, and that is that Paul Heyman at some point has to come back. I don't know what the fuck is holding up Paul Heyman. He needs to be a part of the storyline right now. This is the moment for Paul to now be a part of this storyline because there is no reason to continuously try to drag this storyline along if there's nobody to put it together. But this is what I'm saying. The first scenario with that first scenario is this. Seth and Roman. The first scenario is this. Paul Heyman comes back. Paul Heyman comes back and he pretty much Paul Heyman comes back and uh he pretty much tells Roman, the Usos, Sammy and Seth, y'all have to put your differences aside. I get it. Y'all do not like each other. I get that y'all do not trust each other. I get that Roman was very vindictive his last go around as tribal chief. I get it all. I understand everything. But y'all don't understand how dangerous this bloodline is. See, y'all are still fighting for a cause. Y'all think that if we topple the bloodline, then Roman gets back to this is deeper than that. But you can't see that because every single one of y'all are not in it. You're in it for yourselves. You're not in it to actually help each other. You're in it for yourselves because you're like, if they take me out, who's gonna stop them? You're in it for yourselves. You're not in it to help each other. And that is the problem with the OG bloodline. Everybody is an individual. But the new bloodline is not that way. New bloodline is tight. There's a chain of command. Solo's the tribal chief. Tama Tonga is the right hand man. Tonga Loa is the infamous Tonga Loa. Jacob Fatu is the enforcer. It's a fight. It's a fist. It's tight. We get it. That's why they don't break. But the OG bloodline is individuals. Sammy's an individual. Jay's an individual. Roman's an individual. Seth is an individual. Every single person is an individual. They don't need to be with each other. And that is why I say Paul Heyman needs to be a part of this. Because as Paul Heyman, if Paul is now a part of this, which brings me to the second one, which is the new bloodline needs to beat the OG bloodline in War Games. They need to beat them because they're never going to understand that they need to come together. Roman needs to be humbled. You thought it would have happened at Crown Jewel humbled Roman? No, that just pissed him off. That just made him even more like the old Roman Reigns. It made him be like, fuck that. I need my older father back. I need to beat Solo's ass. I don't give a shit how I gotta get there, but I gotta get there. So now, if he loses in War Games with this team, what happens? What does Roman have to fight for? What did Roman say to Solo Friday? I will never acknowledge you. What happens if you lose for the second straight pay per view? See, that's something that people don't understand. Roman has never lost back to back matches. He hasn't lost back to back matches in years. What if he loses in Crown Jewel and then he loses in War Games? That is a humbling ass feeling. It's humbling. You have to be humbled. You have to. So what happens? Which brings me to my second was I really think should happen, which is that Roman and the OG bloodline needs to lose in War Games. They need to lose in War Games. If Paul Heyman is not a part of this, they need to lose in War Games because Roman needs to be humble. He needs to be taken down a notch. He needs to be taken down a notch to make sure that he understands this is not the old bloodline. This is not that. And that's when Paul Heyman does come back. Because, like he's been saying, I need my wise man. The longer this takes for Paul Heyman to come back on TV, the longer it makes no sense for the OG bloodline to even be a working organization. Here's the thing that people don't understand. The only reason why Cody and Roman won at Bad Blood is because Cody and Roman are on the same fucking playing field. On the same playing field. Jimmy came back, yeah, everybody's gonna say, well, Jimmy came back. But Roman and Cody are on the same playing field. Roman doesn't need to have faith and trust in Cody only for one night. He don't need him to have faith and trust in him for the rest of the fucking year or the entire time in the storyline. He doesn't need that. He just needed to trust him for one night. That's what they kept saying. For one night, we trust each other. So what the fuck is the OG bloodline right now? A bunch of individuals that don't fucking trust each other. They don't trust each other. You add Sammy to this situation and it didn't do anything. Paul Heyman is the quintessential game changer for this storyline. And Paul's been a heel his entire time. So to see Paul as a face will be extremely fucking interesting. That would be interesting. I'm not gonna lie, that'd be an interesting ass thing. I don't know how you work the Paul Heyman character as a face. I don't even know if he's gonna be a face. I don't think he's gonna be, but he's gonna be like an anti-heel. That's the first scenario. In the War Games match, Roman needs to get pinned, but he needs to get pinned by Jacob Fatu. And that's where that storyline now goes. Because if Jacob pins Roman, does he not have claim to the tribal chief? Does he not now have claim to the tribal chief? And you need to start to create, at some point, you need to start creating Solo and Jacob somewhere. You need to start creating that. I'm not saying you need to do it outright, like right now, but if Jacob pins Roman, does that not make Jacob think I have a claim to the tribal chief too? Because I just beat Roman Reigns. The first scenario is the obvious one. They're gonna probably pretty much go with that one because it's easier to do. The second scenario that I've also was talking about was, and what I thought if when they said 5-on-5, this is exactly what I went to, which was Cody and Kevin Owens. Cody Rhodes for Team OG Bloodline, Kevin Owens for Bloodline 2.0. Now, here's where the problem would have kicked in for a lot of people on social media. Why the fuck would Kevin Owens help the new bloodline? He's been beefing with the bloodline. He doesn't give a fuck who it is, Roman or Solo. He's been beefing with the whole bloodline. Why would Kevin now join the new bloodline? And I understood that. And I was like, that can also be a rippling effect on social media too. That could be a bad thing. But the actuality of the fact that Kevin Owens could actually join the new bloodline to go against Roman. And listen, it's it's kind of ironic. I saw somewhere where I posted somewhere that I said Kevin Owens should turn heel on Sami Zayn. I was on my YouTube channel. I was at therapy today, so I was on my YouTube channel and I was like, Kevin Owens should turn heel on Sami Zayn. I saw Kevin Owens heel turn coming. Everybody did, but I was like, he gonna crash the fuck out when he sees Sami back with Roman Reigns. Putting Kevin Owens in the bloodlines in the War Games match with them, particularly Sammy, Cody, and Roman, and he ain't got no love for Jay or Jimmy. He doesn't need to be, and this is the thing. That is one of the scenarios with Drew McIntyre last year, where Drew didn't need to be a part of. Drew didn't need to be a part of the. Drew didn't need to be a part of the storyline for the Judgment Day. It was just for one night only. They had tension, but Kevin Owens would have joined the new bloodline to get his hands back on Roman, get his hands on Cody, Jimmy, and Jay. But what would have happened if him and Sammy saw each other in the War Games match? What in the fuck? That would have been fucking gold right there in your hands. All you had to do. Now, clearly, Cody and Kevin Owens are going to fight at Survivor Series and they're going to be in a one-on-one match for the title. Cool, whatever. And I'm going to say something I never thought I'd say. I think Kevin Owens needs to beat Cody Rhodes. He needs to beat him. Because it would make no sense for Kevin Owens to do what he's been doing and he just loses to Cody again. What the fuck was the point of him taking out Randy Orton with a power driver? What was the point of doing a banned move on Randy Orton? What was the point? Because now Cody Rhodes is in his feelings. You need to take advantage of that shit at some point. Because Cody Rhodes always fights with emotion. But not this type of emotion. He needs to he needs to beat him. He needs to take the belt. I'm not saying he needs to keep it forever. Get it to Saturday night main event and put them back in the ring because Randy Orton's going to be on the show for a while, up until maybe, hopefully, to the Royal Rumble, and then you could do Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton at Elimination Chamber, and then you can have Randy Orton RKO Cody Rhodes right after he beats Kevin Owens. I don't know, like you could do something. But I totally agree with JD from New York. Shout out to JD from New York. What would be the point of putting Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens in a match right now? You could do that shit at Saturday Night Main Event. We can easily just skip that and just go to Saturday Main Event, especially if the new Bloodline beats the OG Bloodline. Because Kevin Owens will have a claim and have Kevin Owens pin Sammy. I listen. I know people think I'm just like, why are you continuously saying the OG Bloodline needs to lose? Because the OG Bloodline does not make sense to win a match like this. You need to be a united front. It would not make sense for them to win a match like this. And plus, on top of that, you're already showing us that there's going to be a face faction that's going to probably win at War Games. Why the fuck do two faces need to win? I didn't understand that last year. Like, what the fuck was the point? I got that Cody and Jay and them was going to win. But when it came to the women, it didn't make any sense for the women to win. Not everybody needs to go home happy. The bloodline, the OG bloodline needs to lose to the new bloodline. I don't give a fuck if it was the Bronson Reed and Seth. scenario or if it's the Kevin Owens and Randy Orton scenario. The only way the new bloodline should lose to the OG bloodline is if Roman Reigns, if it's 4-on-4. But since it's not going to be 4-on-4, now that's the other scenario, which is the most obvious in the best scenario, which was not to have a 5-on-5. The fuck is the point? Why? See, people don't understand this. War games back in NXT didn't always have to have 5-on-5. It used to be like 4-on-4. It used to be like 3-3-3. When the fuck did this have to be 5-on-5? Why does it always have to be 5-on-5? This is one of those years what 4-on-4 and it made fucking perfect sense. Like, why are we rushing to put a storyline together? And the only other scenario that made perfect sense was the Cody and Kevin Owens one, because as much as Kevin Owens probably does not fuck with Solo, and I know he doesn't, it's a rippling effect. It's a rippling effect. None of this shit would be happening if Cody Rhodes never teamed with Roman in the first place. Kevin Owens attacked Cody at the end of Bad Blood in the parking lot. Kevin Owens has been flipping the fuck out since then. Why not have that be the reasoning for why they are in War Games now? But you went with a choice that didn't make any fucking sense, which is Seth Rollins joining Roman. And I get it, like I said, it's the Shield. I get it. But when I heard Seth and Bronson were fighting on Monday Night Raw and not at Survivor Series, I said, yeah, they're gonna be the 5. They're gonna be the 2 members. They're gonna be the 1 and 2. They're gonna be the last 5 members. Also, for everybody saying The Rock should be in this, stop saying The Rock is gonna be in the Bloodline in his War Games. I told y'all this shit like at SummerSlam, and y'all was saying, "Oh, the Bloodline is gonna be in the War Games," and y'all were telling me The Rock should be in it. Why? The Rock is fragile as a motherfucker. Fragile as a son of a bitch. The Rock got injured shooting at his new movie, bro. What is it? The Smash Machine, Smashing Machine, or some shit like that. He's playing a character. UFC. You expect The Rock to go into a War Games match and not come out with a fucking injury? Are you crazy? Now, some of y'all can sit there and say, well, Brandon, he could do like Randy Orton last year. He could come in and just do the little spots. He don't need to do. No. No, 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 no. What's the point? This is nothing I have a problem with people. So The Rock is just outwardly going to tell people that he's the reason for why the new bloodline is moving the way it's moving? Because Solo made an off-cuff comment at the end of the fucking blood. It was like, this is all part of the plan. Y'all are skipping steps. Y'all do realize that, right? If The Rock was just to come back and join Solo, what would be the point of that? I didn't know The Rock had problems with Roman. What's the problem with Roman? Because Roman lost at WrestleMania? That would be the only problem he would have with Roman. The fuck would the problem be? You have to build that story. What the fuck would the problem be? So The Rock comes back, and you haven't even given us Roman and Solo yet. So The Rock just comes back for no reason and joins Solo? You just skip. So fuck Solo being the tribal chief. Just put The Rock and Roman in the feud right now. Let's just be that. The fuck, y'all be just doing shit on social media. That I just be saying, I'm like, do y'all not understand storytelling? Why the fuck would The Rock just pop up and be like, hey, I'm in Survivor Series now. I'm in a fucking War Games match with Solo. I'm his 5th fucking member. Why? What, what sense would that make? What sense would that fucking make? It doesn't make story sense. Like, I get it that y'all just blinded and you just look on the surface. Tell me, why the fuck would The Rock just join Solo outright? Why? If anything, The Rock should join Roman. The Rock should join Roman, team up with Roman first. That makes way more sense. And then he backstabs Roman in War Games and gives the match to Solo. Would that not make sense? Would that not make more sense? And then you can create the Rock and Roman story. Why the fuck did The Rock turn on Roman? Why the fuck did Rock do that? Why is Rock behind the new bloodline? He is the final boss. Did he sign Jacob? Did he bring Tama Tonga? Did he go get Tama Law? Did he do all of this shit? Is the Rock behind the new bloodline? You could build that story. But no, just throw the Rock in the fucking bloodline storyline with the War Games match because that's what you want to see, no matter what. It's fucking retarded of you to think that and think that's a good idea. That's how fucking stupid I know some of you are because that shit don't make no fucking sense. The Rock just joined Solo. No reason, no rhyme or reason. Just I'm part of the new bloodline. For what fucking reason? When it makes more sense if The Rock just joined Roman. Because Roman is vulnerable right now. Roman don't trust no one. What did I just say? Roman needs to be humbled. Roman didn't get humbled at Crown Jewel. He got pissed off. He needs to be humbled. And what will humble him more than The Rock turning his back on him and joining the new bloodline? No, he just needs to just outwardly say, I'm a part of the new bloodline. What sense would that make? Please, my God, somebody explain that to me. Why the fuck would The Rock just outwardly join the blue bloodline? Please, somebody, tell me. Why? Why would he officially join the new bloodline? Why would he do that? Fuck Solo's work. Fuck what he's been doing with the new bloodline. Fuck all that. Just put The Rock in the bloodline storyline because we just need The Rock now. It's fucking stupid. I'm happy most of you motherfuckers don't have a pin. Because I would turn that shit the fuck off. I'll be like, this shit don't make no fucking sense. The, the fuck? We skipped like, fuck pages. We skipped an entire book. We just missed the book. So we're just skipping this shit. And some of y'all will sit here and say no, it makes sense. The Rock needs it. Why? What sense? Roman would trust The Rock. Why? Because The Rock would told him he acknowledged him. So The Rock comes back and he just joins Solo? No rhyme, no reason, just I'm part of Solo's team now. Like I said, I am happy some of you motherfuckers do not have the pin. Because I would literally be looking at y'all like, this shit makes no fucking sense. The Rock just comes back and he joins Solo. No reason, no rhyme or reason. Just, I'm part of the new bloodline. I'm the reason behind the new bloodline. That would make Roman actually be more furious if The Rock came back and just joined Solo for no reason at all. What would be the point? Women's War Games match is also about to be announced next week. Like I said, spoilers. Rhea Ripley is going to be a part of it. I thought it would be Bailey. I'm gonna be honest. I thought it would be Bailey. Um, I get. Listen, I get people that's like, why are they doing a women's war games match? I have also been like that. I don't get the point of doing a women's war games match. There's no real reasoning. They've been trying to push the storyline of Bianca and Jade being, you know, getting a chance to go on. But this is the only time you fucking use the women's tag team titles to go on different brands. You never use them throughout the year. You only do it during Survivor Series time. Is when you use the women's tag team titles to go on Raw, in SmackDown, and NXT. You never use it throughout the fucking years. That's been my biggest problem with the women's tag team titles. Is that you say it's for all brands, but then you have them on one particular brand. They get drafted to one brand, and it's like, no, they should not be drafted to no brand. They have no they should be able to float. That's my biggest problem with it. Is like what the fuck are we drafting them for? And then if they lose the belts, if they lose the belts, then they should be able to go wherever the fuck they want to go. But that's the thing about this thing. Like I get what people are saying. Like yo, this is kind of stupid. Um, why are we doing a women's war games match? And I get it. I saw, like I said, bro, I saw this shit coming at Crown Jewel. I saw the women's war games match coming around Crown Jewel. I saw exactly everything that was going on. I said once Rhea got hurt, I knew Io was gonna be in a women's War Games match. Um, I already knew Naomi, Bailey, and Jay were gonna be a part of the team. I thought Bailey would be the fifth member, but I knew Rhea. If Rhea was in it, I knew it was gonna be Bailey. I I knew Rhea was gonna be in it. I knew it was gonna be Naomi, Jay, and Bianca. I saw that shit coming a mile of fucking way. I just didn't know who the fifth member would be, particularly for team for Nia and Liv. But then once I started seeing Candice LeRae a little bit more on TV, I'm like, okay, that's the fifth member, Candice LeRae. This is not surprising to me that this was the women's War Games match. It's not surprising at all. I'm not surprised at all that this is the women's War Games match because I saw the shit coming. Do I think it needs to be a women's War Games match? Not really. I don't think they need to have a women's War Games match this year because the storylines don't really compute. I mean, I get why are you putting Nia and Naomi in a match against for the title already if you're already about to like what's the point? Why? Why are they already having a title match? You could have waited to after Survivor Series to do that shit. Why are we having a title match? Because we already know Naomi's not losing the belt to fucking Naomi, and Tiffany's not cashing in. So what's the point of having a match? Naomi's not beating Nia, and Tiffany's not cashing in. What's the point? Can we just wait to after Survivor Series to have that match? That's what I would pretty much do. I mean, again, if I had to pin, I probably would wait to have the match between Naomi and Nia. But again, you probably need a match on Friday Night SmackDown to spark some interest. And here's the problem with that. I think it should end in a motherfucking draw. And it should end in disqualification. I think, me personally, again, like I've always said, if I'm WWE, I'm pushing Nia and Naomi to Saturday Night Main Event because that's when Tiffany's going to cash the fuck in. It's built around Tiffany cashing in Money in the Bank. Tiffany's not cashing in Friday night. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. She's not cashing in. She's just joined the women's war games. How the fuck would she cash in? You need to build the storyline, and that storyline is not. Tiffany needs to cash in women at the Money in the Bank. She's going to cash in on Saturday Night Main Event. Why? Because you need something that's going to be memorable for Saturday Night Main Event. And if Nia's already fighting Naomi, why the fuck would Tiffany cash in? What would make sense of it? Are you bringing back Charlotte Flair that night? And Charlotte's going to take out Nia, which makes Tiffany cash in there? I can see that possibly happening. But I can also see Charlotte waiting to rush to the Royal Rumble to come back. I don't think Charlotte just walks back in and becomes. I mean, Tiffany got pinned Friday, so I don't think you could give even Bianca or Jay that title match at Saturday Night Main Event. I mean, like I said, it doesn't fucking make sense. I just don't understand the logic behind having a title match before War Games. I don't understand the logic. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It just doesn't. I can see Saturday Night Main Event already, and I'm probably gonna do a rated review show for Saturday Night Main Event. I just want to point that out too. Um, but yeah, I don't understand the logic behind having Naomi and Nia fight for the title before fucking War Games. It doesn't make any sense. Like I said, because at the end of the day, Tiffany still has the briefcase. She needs to cash in. Why have the match just to have Naomi lose, and then now we have no reason for her to have another match? And Bailey has already lost. What's the point? Now, like I said, you could be bringing back a woman like Charlotte and have her take out Nia at Saturday Night Main Event, and then that's what triggers Tiffany finally cashing in. I don't know. I get that. Maybe Bianca and Jade take Nia out before Miss. I don't get. Yeah, the scenario's stupid. I could easily see Naomi and Nia ending in a draw or ending in a complete and utter like you know excuse me, just all of the women brawling brawling again on Friday Night SmackDown. I can easily see that and them having the advantage. It's 4-on-5 because Rhea doesn't come out to Monday night technically. So I can see the idea of it. Bailey probably comes out to try to help, but doesn't really help. So I can see the idea of it, but I don't see the point of having this match and having a winner. I feel like Saturday Night Main Event would have been a perfect idea to have Naomi and Nia for the title because Tiffany would cash in on Nia. Something else that happened on Friday Night SmackDown that I am very fucking happy about, and that is that finally the women are getting a mid card title. Now I don't know how this is going to work. Nobody does. It doesn't seem like anybody knows what the fuck this is going to really be. If the title is going to be like the tag team titles, women's tag team titles, which is supposed to go from Raw to SmackDown and NXT, but it's going to be Raw and SmackDown exclusive. Which brings me into the other thing I want to talk about. But the women's mid card title is officially here. We finally got it. Ladies and gentlemen, we finally have worn WWE down to give us a women's mid card title on the main roster. Finally. They have one in NXT. They finally have one on the main roster. I'm fucking happy. Now, here is the conversation everybody wants to talk about. And the conversation is who should win it? And that's where the conversation kind of gets interesting because we can give it to everybody's like it. Again, SmackDown has all of the best women mid carders right now. You don't really have too many on Raw that you can even give it to. There's not that many. Raquel is the only one that I can even see get the belt, and it would make even a lick of sense. I'm not giving it to Sonya Deville. Maybe Laura Vancaria, somebody that's completely out of the woodwork. Nobody is talking about Laura Vancaria. Maybe she gets it. Bailey's not getting the WWE Championship, the WWE Women's Championship anytime soon. I can see Bailey going for it. I can see Candice LeRae go for it. I know people saying Mia Yim. I see Chelsea Green a lot. A lot of people are like Chelsea Green, Chelsea Green. I would say this: this will be the most interesting fucking title race we've seen in a minute because there's a lot of women that ain't getting their just due. I don't know how you. It's clearly going to be a tournament. It's clearly going to be a tournament. But again, like I said, and that's the thing. I don't know how many women on Raw you feel comfortable putting in this tournament because, like I said, SmackDown has all of the best mid card women wrestlers. Candice LeRae, Bailey, Bailey now. Like, there's not really that many women on Raw. Laura Van and Raquel Rodriguez, and that's kind of it. That's kind of it. Kyrie Sane. I mean, maybe Kyrie. Maybe maybe they don't pull the trigger on EO beating Liv, which I think they should. I think they should easily pull the trigger, but they're gonna push this storyline so long. Which, by the way, now that Rhea is reportedly back and she will be back, that needs to happen at Saturday Night Main Event, and EO needs to win the Royal Rumble. EO versus Rhea would be incredibly great at WrestleMania. WrestleMania 41. And then you can have Liv and Raquel go get the tag team titles and let them be the tag team champions. That's cool. Let them be the tag team champions because clearly you're trying to tease now Bianca and Jay breaking up. Cool. Let them break up. Go and have a match at WrestleMania. Have Liv and Raquel get the belts. And have, Dakota and Kyrie fight them for the titles or have Lash Legend and Jakar Jackson. Somebody. I don't fucking know. But that's how it should move now. The scenario should be Rhea has the belt, Io wins the Royal Rumble, Charlotte wins the Elimination Chamber, Tiffany's the champion over there at SmackDown, and we can move on. And Nia and Candice become a tag team. I don't fucking know how you do this shit. I'm just throwing shit out there now. But the women's mid card title is very interesting because of this. So reportedly, Raw and SmackDown are going 3 hours. 3 hours next year. Start off the year. Raw and SmackDown will be going 3 hours just to start off the year next year. And I am happy about this because now it tells me that the brand split is officially going to be over for a second, which is good. Now I don't have to hear people cry, bitch, and moan and complain every time. Um, I don't have to hear people cry, bitch, and complain about this goddamn brand split. Why is SmackDown people on Raw? Why is Raw people on SmackDown? I don't have to hear about this shit no more. Now we just have just a Raw versus Smack. Now it's just a brand split. The brand split is over, which will help the mid card title being used back and forth. I think it's the best thing that it could have happened for the brand split. I think the brand split needs to end because SmackDown does not have enough to go 3 hours. But I will say this: SmackDown does have the better tag team division. I've been said this. SmackDown has the better tag team division than Raw. They have actual tag teams. Raw does not. Raw does not have a tag team. Viking Raiders, the Creed Brothers, Judgment Day, kinda, I guess, whatever. But SmackDown has better tag teams. Street Profits, Motor City Machine Guns. You now have kind of the Usos back. You got the Bloodline, of course. I am happy that they're going to do this. And they're also saying that NXT is also going to be a part of this, which is also, me. I love NXT. I get people that don't like NXT now, and I get that shit, but NXT is the shit. I don't give a fuck nobody say NXT is the shit. Um, so I'm a huge fan of NXT. Huge fan of NXT. So if you're gonna use these new NXT, especially the women on NXT, that will automatically induce more women into to the the conversation on the main roster. But when it comes to the guys, there's not that many dudes in NXT that I'm like needs to be called up. Tony D'Angelo, Obafemi, Trick, but are they also going to be still being used on NXT? That's kind of where the conversation really does kick in. Are they still going to be used also on NXT? So I don't really mind the brands going 3 hours. I don't mind Raw and SmackDown going 3 hours. I don't mind the brands kind of not splitting, the brand split being over for a second. I don't mind any of that shit. I think it's a good idea that it needs to happen. Which brings me to NXT. Last week NXT went to Wednesday nights and they went up against the great old AEW. And AEW on their night lost to NXT. They lost to NXT. Am I shocked? No, I'm not shocked. A lot of people sit there and say, "Yeah, I'm very shocked." I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked at all. Reason why is because if you haven't realized, NXT has been getting a lot of traction, but more importantly, AEW has not. I don't give a fuck what's wrong with AEW. I really don't. You can sit there and say it's the booking. You can say it's this, it's that, it's that, it's this, everything. You can sit there and say all that shit. My thing with this situation is AEW died the moment Vince McMahon left. AEW was fucked the moment Vince McMahon, the moment Vince McMahon was canned at WWE. Because nothing was wrong with NXT when Triple H was running it. Vince just wanted to have creative control. Once Vince got canned at WWE and Triple H really took over, AEW didn't stand a chance. It's not a diss to AEW. It's just you can't be the 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 alternative brand when the alternative brand was NXT, which was ran by Triple H. We had people tell you for years NXT was the better brand out of. I told you, I was like, yo, I watch NXT pay per views. I will watch an NXT pay per view before I ever watch a WWE pay per view. A main roster pay per view, I will watch an NXT pay per view before I ever watch the main roster pay per view. NXT was that shit, bro. Takeovers, that black and gold era of NXT was so well balanced. You had top men, top mid card men. You had top women, top mid card women. NXT was the shit. That black and gold. So I get why people don't like the new NXT. I totally understand it. But the new NXT is about trying to develop these superstars. It's not about bringing in old people that's been on the indie scene for years. Now they can do it. I mean, I'm not gonna get mad at them if they do it. But that NXT was special because it was one of a kind. It ain't in modern wrestling. That ain't happened. That hadn't happened. You had people that was coming in from different brands coming in to the big brand. NXT, WWE was under this, but it wasn't WWE. It was gritty. It was cringe. It was independent wrestling, just with the lights on, with a bigger light on it. AEW thinks that's what they are, and they're not. AEW got screwed. AEW died the moment Vince McMahon got fired because you had no real reason to sit there and tell us you were the attorney. Now we're starting to see you don't know how to book shit. You don't know how to put on shows, man. You with I literally said this shit about AEW years ago. They're WCW. They give us pay-per-view matches on TV and think that shit is just gonna continuously make us watch them. And after a while, you start to question, okay, what the fuck is the purpose of having a big ass caliber match like this, and you're not gonna get no money payoff, which is like, right, like your, full gear, you know, Forbidden Door. You, you're just throwing shit together now, and you're not even trying to tell us why we should care. This storyline they got now with John Moxley, great in hindsight. It's a great idea. It would work if you didn't try to do this shit two already times already. When you tried this shit, you tried it earlier with the Elite, early in the year with the Elite, and then you tried it a year ago with the Undisputed Kingdom. What you're trying to make the NWO storyline, and nobody gives a fuck. Not a single soul give a fuck about this storyline. Yeah, you got your fans that will always kiss your ass and tell you this shit is good. But for the most of us, it's like, this shit makes no fucking sense. Why do I care? Am I shocked NXT beat AEW? Fuck no. I was watching NXT regardless if they was on Tuesday or Wednesday. I didn't give a fuck. I was watching that shit. Because I watch NXT. I'm waiting for the shit to come on tonight. NXT has better storylines. Even the bullshit ones. The shit that don't make no fucking sense. The one you're like, man, it's some Vince shit. That makes sense. NXT has better women wrestlers. They don't have the better men. I will easily tell you that. There's no MJFs or Will Ospreys in the pack. That not one. I wouldn't even. There's no Swerve Stricklands or Adam Coles or even Buddy Matthews or Malachi Blacks. They're none of that. They got them in the men department. They got them clearly in the men's department. They whooping that ass in the men's department. But when it comes to the women, they ain't touching the women. They ain't touching the women. Roxanne Perez is better than Mariah May. She's only 23, 24 years old. She's better than Mariah May. Who's the? She's better than Mariah May. Better. She's better than Mariah May. You care about Roxanne Perez. Tell me one thing about Mariah May that you care about outside of the Tony Storm story. She bad. She's bad. Roxanne bad though. It don't change nothing. Like Roxanne bad though. What the fuck you talking about? Mariah May is bad, but that's it. That's all you could give me. She fine as shit. I totally agree. In the ring, what do you care about? Do you care about our storyline? Probably fucking not. You don't care. Yo, she's the AEW World Women's Champion, and you do not give one single fuck that she's the champion. Mercedes continuously sent out here all day. Mercedes could say everything under the sun. I went to AEW because this is where the best wrestler and all that shit. Mercedes, I don't even think you believe that shit no more. That shit is starting to become propaganda. That's what you gotta say to keep people off your ass. That is on your ass for you going to AEW. You have to try to you have to make up whatever mindset that you need to make up. I truly believe you're trying to justify your decision. And by all means justify it. Because it's your decision. I'm not mad at you for making that decision. But when you continuously get on your podcast and you say AEW is what the best wrestler, I don't believe you believe that. I don't believe you believe that. That's me though. Now you might believe that shit with your cold heart. Your whole heart. You might really believe that shit. Your whole heart. You really might believe that shit. But let's be 100. You don't think AEW wrestlers are seeing what WWE is doing, and you're not at some point intrigued by that shit? Of course. Just like WWE wrestlers were intrigued by AEW wrestlers when they were starting to work. What killed AEW was Vince leaving, but also what killed AEW? Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes killed AEW. He killed AEW because, you know why? Because he was the first one to defect. He created the fucking company with all of them and said, I could do better in WWE. I could do better in WWE. And he left. And now they don't have a storyline in the world that can fix this shit. Because they drop stories. The bloodline, and here's the thing. People love the bloodline storyline. I have said for years, it took the bloodline like a year and a half to really catch on. It took them like 2 years. They started in 2020. They started in the pandemic. They didn't get that storyline didn't get hot until like 2022. Yeah, it was cool, but it wasn't like fucking hot. It wasn't like peak shit. The Bloodline storyline really didn't get hot until 2022. It didn't get hot until 2022. People say it was when Sammy joined. Yeah, yeah. Sammy was always trying to be a part of the Bloodline, but when he really joined, that's when it became good. When him and Jay started having problems, that's when it became good. But that Bloodline storyline was boring for most of the fucking time. The first year and a half, that shit was boring, bro. I don't know what the fuck people be talking about. I would tell you when that storyline got good for me. Um, Logan Paul. Logan Paul. Logan Paul made this storyline good for me. I'll tell you why I say that. And people think I'm crazy as shit. I just said Logan Paul on my fucking. Logan Paul made that storyline of the bloodline good for me. And I'll tell you why. That was the first time Sammy stepped up and became the honorary Oos. That's the first time Sammy stepped up and became the honorary Oos. What he told Logan Paul, we got a slang, we got a slogan here. We the ones, and you are number two, my dog. That shit made me laugh. Yo, Roman was even laughing. Like Roman's like that shit is stupid. Logan Paul even cracking smiles. Like this shit is stupid. When that story kicked in, that's what happened. When Roman and Solo and them got in the ring, when Roman and Jay and Jimmy and them got in the ring, and Sammy like disrespected the wise man and was talking for Roman, and bruh. And then they did that segment, bruh. That's when it got good. That was what May, June of 2022, and then they just kept the ball rolling. Clash at the Castle with Drew McIntyre. Everybody got taken out, and then Solo popped up, and then Solo joined the Bloodline, and then just the ball started to roll. It was just like you can catch this, you can stop the momentum. Then they did the trial with Sami Zayn. Bro, y'all realize all that shit happened in like a 6 month stretch of each other. My favorite parts of the Bloodline storyline was when the Crown Jewel match happened with Roman, because a lot of Roman's matches at that time was fucking boring. He had matches and then it was just over. The storyline didn't have no fucking storyline. It was never a peak. It was never that. It was over. But when he had that match against Logan Paul, it was like, okay, that makes sense. It was actually his best match. I told y'all that was his best match of his title reign. That was the one of the best matches he had of that title reign until WrestleMania 39. I think. And listen, I love WrestleMania 40 match between him and Cody. I will talk about it at the end of the year. But if you ask me for real, the best match between Cody and Roman was WrestleMania 39. That was the best match. I get it. People love the intrigue and the because how that match was felt. It felt different. We knew at WrestleMania 40 Cody was gonna beat Roman. There was no way in hell around Cody beating Roman. But there was still some intrigue. There was still some. Could he do it at WrestleMania 39? That's why the match was so good. That's why that was the best match of his title reign. Logan Paul was number two. Logan Paul was two. Three was Seth Rollins. Four and five was Jimmy. Was Jay. Hell in a Cell, then and Clash of the Castle. I mean, not Clash of the Castle. Hell in a Cell, and then Night of Champions. And then you can pick whatever you want to pick after that. The top five is solidified for me. The top five is solidified for me. Drew McIntyre is six. Forgot Drew. Drew is definitely in that. Kevin Owens and him. I like the Kevin Owens match they had at TLC more than I like the Royal Rumble matches they had. Because him and Kevin Owens matches that match at TLC was fucking fire. That was a great match. But yeah. So when people sit there and tell me that NXT that they can't believe AEW lost to NXT last week, what the fuck did you expect was gonna happen? You really thought AEW was gonna beat NXT even on their night? AEW has AEW is throwing everything to the wall and they can't figure it out. NXT just has to continuously do what they're doing. I love the fact that tonight is going to be just pretty much all the women because that's the best thing on NXT is the women. They don't really have a men's division. Like talking about it. This is why I feel like they need to. I don't know what the fuck's up with Ricky Starks. I don't know what's going on with the contracts and shit. But God Almighty, do they need a fucking a dose of? They need a dose of something. They need a TNA star. No, no, not Joe Hendry. Go get Moose. Go get Josh Alexander. You need a actual fucking wrestler to boost that NXT division because that shit is embarrassing. Maybe put somebody from WWE that isn't get on the main roster that's getting a rub. Maybe Shinsuke Nakamura. Give him the fucking belt back. Let him be the three-time NXT champion. At least I have some fucking intrigue. Like, fuck, put Dragon Lee back on NXT. I think you moved him up a little bit too fast any fucking way. You let him be the NXT champion. Somebody has to take that belt away and actually have a reason to be the champion. I think you're just giving it a trick because you're just waiting to give it to Obafemi. I've been said this. Put the belt on Wesley and let's just see what happens. Let Wesley walk that bitch into NXT stand and deliver. Why not? Fuck it. Why not, man? This men's division in NXT fucking sucks. It's terrible. Because we all know what you're doing. You're pump faking this shit until you give it to Obafemi. But Oba should be in Iron Man's the Iron Survivor Challenge. He should win the fucking challenge. He should go into New Year's Evil, beat Trick Williams, go into Stand and Deliver with the belt, beat Trick Williams to Stand and Deliver, let his ass go to the main roster, and we got it that way. And then build your main roster, your men's roster from Obafemi. After that, I don't give a shit. But get the belt off of Trick. I don't want to see Trick and fucking Rich Holland. I swear to God, I don't want to see this shit. I'm gonna have to call it because it's gonna happen. But I do not want to see this fucking match. I do not give a fuck about Rich Holland. I don't give a fuck about Ethan Page. You are giving this man bullshit wrestlers to work with, and you're trying to make it seem like, but here's the reason for why. No, it doesn't. It doesn't work. You have good wrestlers. There are men on the roster. You're just not using them. Cedric Alexander is a hell of a wrestler. Hell of a wrestler. Javon Evans is too green. I don't think you should give him a belt anytime soon. Tony D'Angelo should be the NXT champion, not the North American. Obafemi should be the NXT champion, not fighting for the North American. Trick and Ethan and Rich Holland should be fighting for the North American Championship and not the NXT title. I've been saying that shit. I will never fall off that bad. They should be. They need to switch this shit. Tony D'Angelo needs to be the NXT champion. Obafemi should be going after that, and Trick, Ethan, and Rich should be fighting for the North American Championship. There is no way in hell you see these three men and you think that they are champion, world champion, main champion, the top guy, championship brand, quality wrestlers. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Wes Lee should be going for the fucking NXT championship. This shit don't make no sense. But anybody that's sitting up there and being surprised that NXT beat AEW last week, how? How? How could you be surprised? I don't get it. WWE as a whole is rolling right now. I'm trying to find some tickets to go to Raw December 30th. I'm going to get a ticket and I'm going to Raw December 30th. It will be the last Raw on the USA Network. I don't know if they're going to pack that shit in. I have no idea. Um, but I would definitely be in the building. I don't know. Like I said, I got to wait. But I'm definitely going to get a ticket. And I'm going to NXT. I'm going to NXT. That shit is happening. I'm going to WWE Raw December 30th here in Houston. I will be in attendance. Fuck that shit. So, yeah. Until next time, man. This is Wrestling Life. This is Brandon New. I'll be back. Maybe next week. I don't know if some more stuff comes up. But I definitely will be back November 30th for WarGames. That is my next Wrestling Life rating review show. And then the following week, I'll be back December 7th. I think that is. December 7th will be NXT Iron Survivors Challenge pay per view. So that will be the next pay per view for that. And I'll be talking about that as well. And of course, December 14th will be so 3 Saturdays straight. I will be on here doing Wrestling Life, and that will all lead up into my top 10 matches of 2025 and my top 10 matches of 2025, my top 10 storylines of 2025, and of course my top 10 um, wrestlers of 2025. So 2024. I keep saying 2025. 2024. So storyline, wrestler matches of 2024. So that pretty much will go into 2025. But until next time, man, I am Brian Janeau. That is the next couple of episodes. Hope you guys enjoy. Peace.